welcome back to ABC News. My name is Najiha, and for today's story is Malaysia was taken back by the tragedy of collapse of the Sultan Abdul Halim Ferry Terminal Bridge in 1988. Our reporters have the entire story of this tragedy, so let's hear it.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Nabil bin Osman, and today I will talk about one of the few incidents that happened in our country which left a huge impact, which is the tragedies of Sultan Abdul Halim Ferry Terminal Bridge, which is in Batu Penang, where the bridge suddenly collapsed on the evening of 31st July 1988, where the people was having fun. It is said that there was over 10,000 people on the crowded area, where they were celebrating their festival, which is their Kuan Yin festival on that day. The incident reports said that there was total over 1,700 casualties on that day and left over 32 deaths for the people on that area, which is a huge devastating news for us back on the day. Before we get a little bit further, a history about this bridge. It was built on 1956, where there was a two-level which used for the passenger from the station bus and for the car to pass through. To go a little bit further, I will pass to my other friends. That's all from me. Thank you.
According to chronology, the ferry terminal was reported to be congested since early morning due to inflow of thousands of visitors who wanted to cross into Penang. Chinese visitors from outside and within the country has gathered there to celebrate two festivals, which namely Kuan Yin Goddess Festival in Georgetown and the anniversary celebration of SDN Church in Bukit Mertajam. The Penang Bridge was closed to public vehicles to avoid the congestions during the processions. Due to that, visitors who wanted to join the processions had to use the ferry. The presence of visitors who want to go to Penang, which is estimated more than 10,000 people, has forced people who in charge to close the entrance to the base area, which is the only entrance to Georgetown. To make matters worse, this situation has become chaotic after the ferry coming from the directions of Penang approached the jetty. Due to that, visitors disobeying the instruction from authority, instead they were rushed into main gate space to enter the ferry.
Visitors are rushed and scramble into the main gate area to enter the ferry. However, at 4:40 p.m., they were startled by a very loud bang of sounds which came from the jetty. The floor beams beneath suddenly snapped under the pressure from the public, causing the floorboards to collapse and the passengers to fall. Many of them were crushed underneath the concrete columns and floorboards. The collapse caused visitors to slide and fell into the sea, and some of them fell to the ground floor and resulting in some vehicles being crushed, while heavy poles and logs also hit them. And according to the tragic, police officer at a nearby station reportedly heard the loud sounds of its collapse and received calls about the incident just a moment later.
Several survivors offered to assist the victim, and the victim was taken to the Butterworth Hospital, Bukit Mertajam Hospital, and several other nearby hospitals. The firefighters attempt to rescue the victim who are trapped beneath the concrete. Tuan Dr. Mahathir, former Prime Minister of Malaysia, also paid a visit to the tragedy site. Each victim family was given RM335. So, as the result of the incident, a royal commission was established by the government of Malaysia to investigate the causes of the incident. Following a detailed investigation, the government body determined that the Penang Port Commission's system was ineffective to control the number of people.
On the evening of 31st July 1988, the unthinkable happened when the Sultan Abdul Halim Ferry Terminal Bridge in Butterworth, Penang suddenly collapsed. It was reported that the columns were made of reinforced concrete and the floor of thick boards. The floor beams fencing and walls made of dense steel covered the passageway for vehicle beneath. However, on that day, the beams buckled and snapped, resulting in the floorboards collapsing. The steel walls and roof also caved in, with several passengers crushed by columns and platform boards. Vehicles beneath were crushed. From this incident, it clearly shows that the equality of construction must be always with the loading that is acting on the structure. We can conclude that there are two reasons that contribute the jetty collapse, which is the first one is two major festivals were taking place at the same time. The second reason is the bridge became overcrowded right before its collapse. The bridge, made of thick boards that supported by beams and reinforced concrete columns, could not bear the weight of 10,000 people who were rushing on the bridge. Police officers were also reportedly stationed at the bridge to manage the huge crowd, but their efforts were failed.
What are the impacts? Thus, on this incident, the effect that can be found is the most community are trauma in using the ferry terminal as a destination intermediary. In fact, they now think that using the Penang Bridge as a destination to other side is a matter of more security, especially for workers who work from the island to other side. Due to the failure of concrete durability, the ferry usage rate at that time was low compared to the community using Penang Bridge. As a lesson from this case, property management must play an important role. As property management, who manage the property must improve or enhance safety work on the building. Maintenance management needs to be managed well to avoid equipment accident in the building. Controlling and supervising the building with a schedule of maintenance is very important so that the horrible incident will not happen again.